and welcome to Trucking Along with Kearsey. That's me, your positive voice in trucking, and this is
Maureen. Hi, how are you doing?
She's my TNT, and you're going to see more of her. But one of the questions that I asked Maureen when she came on my truck was, what do you think the biggest challenges that women have coming into trucking? And I was kind of shocked at her answer. Do you remember what you said to me?
I don't.
Her response was backing. That was your response, was backing, okay? And I said, no, that's a challenge for everybody. What's the challenge for women coming out on the road? So, have you decided?
I don't know if it's gender specific maybe. I think the biggest challenge maybe be for women specifically is maybe the bathroom issue. I've heard men talk about this before, women, but so far, anytime we've ever had to use the restroom, we stopped at one of the truck stops. There's a truck stop every, how many truck stops do you always see?
Right.
So it doesn't take a lot to pull over and stop in the
Which
truck
is a lot
stop.
easier when you're teaming. When
Right.
you're parked and you're solo, you can't always get to some place. So we've discussed always having like little porta potty commode on the truck. They sell them at truck stops. They sell them at Walmart for camping. They sell them at our terminal at Prime. Ask if your company allows it, because I've been told, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I've been told by a woman that her company found out that she had one and they fired her. Now, why? I don't know. Maybe she was already in line to be fired. You can't always believe
Yes,
everything that
okay.
you hear from people, so that could be an issue. My personal belief is that the one thing that stops women from coming into trucking is their kids. You don't see women out here until their 40s or more, higher, or unless they're single and then they won't have kids, because you just can't get a trucking job. You just can't go over the road for a year to get that experience and leave your kids behind. Even if you get a local job as a new driver, guess what? You're still going to be working 12 to 14 hours a day. You're not going to see those kids. So you're going to have to worry about daycare, childcare, whatever. And especially with COVID, where the kids are home, you have bigger issues. So my personal belief is that's the number one thing stopping women in trucking. Turning the handle, some of the physical stuff, like
turning the handle sometimes can definitely be tough.
With the heavy
Strength.
loads. So the only thing you can do in that situation, we have a low gear, but how long does that take?
Forever.
Like, you could literally turn and turn and turn in low gear, which is an easier gear to turn, but you could be there for 45 minutes to an hour just to get it to raise enough to the point where you can turn it into high gear. So in those situations, you just ask a yard dog to come over and lift the trailer up a little bit so that you can crank the handle, or ask another guy that's out there. I'm going to say, don't you think like 80% of the time, there's usually another driver.
Yes, there's always somebody around, a driver or a yard dog.
So, especially when it comes to women, the guys are like, oh, sure. Those guys, they want to sit there and show you their muscles. Oh, I got this. Just like she was talking in the last video about this guy, Tommy, that came over at the pet show in Milan and was talking about her backing, and he was trying to give her positive feedback. And I have a video of Tommy that I'll figure out how to put up, but it was still, oh, I'm macho, and I'm going to show you ladies how it's done. But I didn't take it offensively.
No, I didn't take it offensively either.
And I
don't think it was meant that way, offensively.
But I think a lot of times when people are out on the road so long, they lose some of those social skills. So they want the interaction with people. So sometimes, honestly, sometimes it can seem creepy, and it doesn't. I don't think they mean it that way. And he did become annoying after a little while, because it was like, all right, dude, we've been talking to you.
Let me show you how I can move my truck.
Yeah. But I think he was trying to be helpful.
I think so too.
He even complimented us, so.
That's right. Hey,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong with complimenting.
That's right.
To women, right?
It was kind of cute.
And it was during the day, and I think I was in the truck when he approached you, and I don't think it was creepy kind of approaching. I think and we seen him just come out of a truck that was parked just a couple of things down from us. So I think Kearsey knew what he was going to say because she was outside, directing me. So it was not creepy at all.
No, because I would have said, "Excuse me, get the freaking back in your truck." You and your creepy
Jersey.
butt. You and your creepy butt. but there was this one guy in Jersey.
That's right.
Now that you bring it up, this one guy in Jersey and a little tiny customer that I had to back down this jet end, and I don't think that he was. He came and blocked me to get into the door, and then when I told him I needed him to move so I could back in, he didn't want to. He's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go check in," and then he took the door.
Yeah, he never came back out.
So, but I don't think that was because I was a woman. I think that was just because he was ignorant.
Right. I
Yeah.
think he wanted to get out of there, and he wasn't worried about you getting in there.
And then when I start to back in, he says to her, "Did she hit my truck?"
And I said, now I have my headset on, so she could, she has her headset on. And I'm like, no, sir, she did not hit your truck.
And I'm trying to back around this big long-nosed Pete that I had her outside for two reasons. Because number one, she could see the manipulation of the trailer and see how to get it in. And number two, to make sure I didn't hit anything, because that was not easy. But, and she's saying, "No, sir, she did not hit your truck." And I'm screaming out the window, "He wants me to hit him. I freaking hit him. Have him come up. I'll punch him in the face. He takes my door. He blocks my aisle." And she's still saying, "No, sir." And he's standing in front of the truck trying to show me how to back up.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, "Get away. I'm going to hit you. Get out." I'm like, I'm shocked I still had a job after that day. But it was kind of fun. She said to him, "Oh, well, my trainer's from Jersey, so yeah, she's upset yelling."
So yeah, that was an experience. All of them have been learning experiences for me, actually. Because at every one of the stops and pickups and drops, I learned something. And in that particular case, yeah, I did learn that. They ask, "Where you from?" I'm like, "Well, I'm from the South." I said, "My trainer is from New Jersey." Or make sure they knew that.
Yeah, because
She knows the area. She knows how to park, basically, what I was trying to let them know.
Yeah,
You don't
she's
have to
all
worry
nice
about
and
her.
sweet. I ain't taking that crap off of them. Get the hell out my door. But, she makes a good point about the bathrooms. I think hygiene is another one that is really hard for women, because you're not going to get a shower at 8 o'clock in the morning every day. It's not going to happen. You
might not get a shower every day.
This is true.
You might not get, But that, to me, goes back to, you have to do your research. You have to know what to expect of OTR. I don't know, that's just, if I'm thinking about it, you're driving a truck from one state to another state. You have to logically think about, okay, well, when am I going to stop to do my laundry? When am I going to stop to take a shower? So you have to improvise, I call it. Sometimes you just have to improvise.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion on it.
But, I think when you're solo, I have more of a tendency to stop halfway through my shift. And instead of taking my 30-minute break, I'll take an hour, go run in, take my shower, and get out. So I seem to shower more often when I'm solo, but probably because I'm a lot more exhausted when I'm teaming. Especially like the first couple weeks, I don't sleep deeply because I want to make sure that the student can hear me. So, she's a very safe driver, so I'll be sleeping a lot more deeply coming up, and Yeah, I didn't feel the last couple times you stopped. I was like, wow,
Well,
this is great.
that's good. You know, I do have to put myself into her position. She is my trainer, okay? She doesn't know me from, you know, she doesn't know me at all. We didn't know each other before I came here. I've seen her video. We have talked on the phone. I have emailed her. But she doesn't know it. You know, I came in with my CDL, but, you know, just because you got your CDL does not make you a professional driver. Hint. You know, that's just the beginning of it. So she is entrusting me to drive her truck while she's sleeping. I mean, that is, to me, is a big deal because, you know, that's why in the beginning you kind of she runs the truck as solo because she does have to evaluate and figure out, okay, is this person that I'm about to go in the back and sleep, is this person safe? You know, and so that's going to take a week or so at least to determine if that person is going to be safe. Because she's had experiences where, you know, rightfully so, they were, you know, they have done some things that maybe shouldn't have been doing while they were driving.
True.
So, you know, I can, you know, I can respect her point of view. And I want to make sure, you know, I'm just not driving a truck. I say I'm maneuvering a piece of equipment that's 80,000 pounds. So I have to put into consideration the safety of the public, you know. So, I understand that the concerns that a trainer has to go through before they can say, okay, I'm going to let this person drive the truck while I go in the back and sleep. And I'm sure in the beginning, the trainer really can't go to sleep because they are, you know, they've trained to listen for certain things while they are not in a very deep sleep. So when she says that she actually slept very deep, that, you know, to me, I'm like, well, I'm glad then, because that to me says that, well, maybe she's, not that there's a trust issue, but just maybe she recognizes that I'm a safe driver. And
well, it is a trust thing. It is. And one thing that you wind up doing is, as you feel more comfortable, you're less of a hazard and a risk too.
Okay.
So the first, you know, couple days, every student that gets on the truck goes like this.
Yeah.
And they don't even want to turn their head because somehow they think if they turn their head, they're going to turn the whole truck like 180 degrees or something. So, you know, you did do that.
Oh, I'm sure I did.
But the great thing about you is that you actually look in your mirrors. So, you know, and that's a huge deal for a trainer, is always look in the mirrors. But back to the whole idea of women, you know, somebody asked me on one of the comments, and a couple of my other students asked me too, what's the difference between training men and women?
Okay.
And which one's harder? And it's funny because men and women, I don't want to say they're equally difficult because they have different issues.
Okay. Okay.
The women have harder problems with backing, and that is true. It is true, but it's more of women get a defeatist attitude. Women want to give up more. Women have this, I have to be everything. I have to be a mother. I have to be a career person. I have to be the breadwinner. So they put that concept in their head of, well, I have to get this done and I should be done now, which is what somebody I know has a problem with. But they also have a problem with the angles and trying to learn the angles. So a lot of times women will get out and look and they don't know what they're looking at. And even though I try to explain it, it's really hard to teach backing because everybody sees different lengths and depth perception, and they look at different, like reference points. Like I could say, okay, well look at this flag over here, and she's looking at it at a certain angle, maybe 90-degree angle, and I'm looking at it and say, oh, it's 45 degrees for me. So it's just your understanding of it. Now when it comes to men with backing, men are kind of arrogant when it comes to driving and backing, and they just figure, okay, I'm going to get this. So men with driving, they're usually like following closer and tailgating more. They usually speed more. Women are a lot more safe in that respect. Women still have that fear factor, and men have that aggressive factor of get out of my way, which makes me laugh because we're like the turtles of the highway at the slowest freaking trucks in the industry. And so, you know, you're not going to go outrun some long-nosed Pete guy that's, you know, got 80 mile per hour ability. But I think those are kind of the differences between men and women. Men have more aggressiveness. Men are more easily pick up the backing, even though if you talk to guys, they still say the same thing, that it takes forever. Like, I don't know any guy that came in and said, oh yeah, backing was really easy, unless they grew up on daddy's farm backing tractors, or if they had a boat trailer. You know, even my brother, I was telling her, my brother and his best friend, they had a boat trailer and they were trying to back it up, and they couldn't do it. For like 2 hours, they were trying to do this, and people would say, just stop, we're going to go around you. You know, so when you come in and you've never even had that experience, it plays a role. But I think women, it's harder for them to learn angles, but they're better drivers. And even you said to me, I'm comfortable driving forward.
Yes, I am a lot more comfortable driving forward. But I know that backing, I will, you know, I trust what she says, and I trust what everybody else says, that I will get better at it as you practice.
And tonight when she gets aggravated, I'm going to play this video back for her, because I'm going to say, see? But something that is cool is that if you get along like we do, there's really no rush to get off the truck either. You know,
that's a good point.
She's from South Carolina and hasn't driven through the snow yet. So it's not just the idea of backing, it's, hey, does she want to go through the winter with somebody else on the truck, or does she want to do it by herself? Because I think we're going to be done your miles like around January. That's my guess.
Yeah, somewhere
it's
around
like
there.
Middle of October right now, and depending on how much we take for home time and holidays and stuff, but somewhere around January. Now, guess what? It's still snowing up in Colorado in Memorial Day, May. So, you know, you always have that option.
Yeah, to me, I mean, I know I have to do 60,000 miles, but to me, it's not a race. I mean, I'm here to learn how to be a professional driver and to be safe. So to me, it's okay. So if I stay on Kearsey's truck a little longer, I don't think it's, you know, it's not going to be, it's going to benefit me. So why wouldn't I do something that, if I have that opportunity, why wouldn't I take that opportunity? It's not like, you know, I say, okay, when I came in, I had certain expectations of myself, I did. But you also have to be flexible, and you also have to say, hey, you know, do I really want to drive, you know, upgrade, get my own truck, and tell everybody I got my own truck. It's not about getting my own truck. It's about learning. And yeah, eventually I would like to upgrade, obviously, but it's also about learning how to be safe, you know, and learning how to drive in different conditions, because you can read about it and you can look at videos, but actually going through the experience of it, just like I did with the windy situation in Wyoming. You know, that I mean, you can't learn that in a classroom.
This is true. And I sort of made a joke the other day that because of COVID, my fleet manager's not here in the terminal, so they haven't met yet. So all he is the voice on the phone that she's heard twice now, right? And it's almost like Charlie's Angels, like the little speaker on the desk is talking to you. But I think women, I think if he was here and you got to sit there and talk to him, you'd feel more comfortable saying, okay, he's not some big, mean, nasty ogre guy that's going to fire me as soon as I screw up and make a mistake. And that's something that I really don't like about COVID. But the upside is that when you go company, she's going to go company, not lease. She gets to keep my fleet manager. So the whole time she's staying on my truck, she's actually going to wind up building a relationship with Greedy One Kenobi. actually, you guys are putting Greedy One Kenobi on the applications now, and I got a call asking me if that's who it was. It was hysterical, so that's funny. But, you know, and that actually just adds to her own perception of him, and allows her to feel more comfortable when she does go solo. Because truth of the matter is, coming off of my truck, he's not really going to treat her any differently. He's really not.
Good.
I mean, I've had students that he's just gonna like throw miles and until she screams uncle, and then that's it. Because Greedy One Kenobi, he wants that money, and he knows that you're not getting off my truck unless you know what you're doing.
Okay.
So, and I told her that. And I don't care, like, if she can't back, she's not getting off the truck. But I'm not going to sit here and keep doing it for her either.
That's right.
Because then you're not going to learn.
Exactly.
I had that where my trainer was like, left, 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 right, right, right. And it's like, you know, you get frustrated, though.
You do. You get frustrated when I have somebody in front of me and they say, you know, they make this hand motion going right and left. You really don't learn nothing from it. It just taught me to look at the person in front of me at his hand motion. So I just have to get a feel of it and, you know, do the backing up.
So after we leave here, we're going to go pick up our load, and then we are going to go to 2 places that we've already done backing, and she's going to do it, and I'm going to go to bed while she's doing that, because, you know, sometimes it's just easier for me to say figure it out than to try to show her, because it goes back to me trying to explain stuff. Like Robert that we met, that I already mentioned in another video, he's here testing tomorrow, and you know, he was saying that his one trainer was telling him information, but when somebody else explained it, he understood it better from somebody else. And that's one of the reasons why I let that one guy Tommy talk to you, because sometimes just hearing it a different way can make it click. But what was really funny was he said everything I did, and she's going, she already told me that. And I was like, so it just confirmed everything I said, though.
It did, yeah.
So, you know, but
I just have to do it.
But
and one thing that she mentioned to me once before, which I think about a lot now more, she'll tell me I'm too hard on myself, but she says I have nobody to compare myself to, really, which, you know, makes sense because it's just her and I in the truck. She's had 5 years experience, so it's unfair for me to judge myself. You know, if I'm at if we're loading somewhere and I'm watching other drivers, you know, put it into the hole right away. I mean, I can't expect that of myself. So that was a good point that she brought up. You don't have nobody else to compare yourself against.
Which is why I tell her all my mistakes that I made when I was new and what other students did, because, like, the reason I said that was because when I went solo, I didn't know if I was doing a good job or not. You know, and Prime gives you rewards points for certain things. So I just start making all this money on rewards points, and I get $30 and $50. So I said to my fleet manager, I was like, why am I getting this stuff? And he said, I don't know. I can't see your rewards points. And I was like, well, how do I know what I'm doing right? And he says, well, apparently you are, so just keep doing what you're doing.
There you go.
Well, hello, I want to know what that is. But
it's for doing a good job.
It is. So just keep doing what you're doing, and then nobody else, you know, that is one thing about going solo, though. When you mess up in your solo, there's nobody there to feel embarrassed about. Like, I'm sure that when you screw up, you feel like embarrassed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't know how I'm going to react.
Right. I think that's just normal reaction. Yeah.
Right. But
when you were solo, it's like, yeah.
Nobody saw it. And, like, sometimes you're like, ew, did anybody see that? Ooh, I have to go back up 2 miles down the road. I'm just going to put my hazards on and go. And then when a car comes by, you just stop and say, come on. And you just keep going. I mean, that's just the kind of thing that's going to happen out there. But, you know, I do think it's funny that you keep telling me I'm so patient. And she's like, you're not yelling at me.
Well, I have someone to compare her to. Hence my first trainer. So, Yeah, she is patient, and that's that's the kind of training that I need. Somebody that's patient. That.
Yeah, because she's not the type to yell back.
No.
I would have just yelled back.
Yeah.
I did yell back. My trainer yelled, and I'd say, "Shut up! You ain't driving. You ain't got hours, so you're stuck on the truck. Now I can park, and the truck ain't going nowhere, and you don't have the hours, so just be quiet." But and I'm not talking about something that would have been important. I'm
Right.
talking about, he wouldn't tell me where to go, wouldn't even write down a list of directions or anything, and then would yell when I was in the wrong place. Well, that's your problem. That's your fault. That's not mine. Communicate better.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm a woman and I talk, like you guys know, so I communicate. I need somebody to communicate with me, But what else do you think as a woman that's hard out here? It's easy meeting guys.
Oh yeah, she can tell you a story about that.
Smorgasbord of guys out here. So if you're looking to date, yeah. And even with COVID, don't matter. You can find a hot guy even when his
with your mask
is on and your mask is on, and they don't know what you look like, and it's still like, yeah. So,
yeah. So she has a story about that.
Yeah. I have a new guy. So we'll see what happens, but you have to be smart about that too. Like he had said, we met at Little America, and we sat and we had lunch, and I don't know where you were, watching TV or something.
I think I did my laundry or taking a shower or something
you
like
took
that.
a shower. I went and did laundry, and I was taking a shower and I was eating. So I met this guy, and he sits down and we're talking for a while, and then he wound up leaving out ahead of us. So by the time we swapped out, he had said to me, "Oh, well, if I go park, will you come see me and we could go talk and walk around?" And I was like, no. And he's like, "Oh, come on." I was like, "No." And I was like, "You're gonna go park at a Walmart parking lot. Like, I'm gonna stop at Walmart at 2:00 in the morning, right? Where I don't know you. You could be a serial killer. Like, don't you watch any of those shows?" And because I write books about serial killers, so
Yes, she
I got
does.
all those things in my head, right? And so he said to me, "Well, is there any place that you'd meet me?" And I said, "Well, the way station is open right now, so go park at the way station. We'll catch up." So I did, and then guess what? Then I get out and we're walking around the way station because there's cops there and there's video cameras, and it got so windy that my wig blew away and he was chasing the wig, and I was like, well, any guy that chases my wig,
that's right.
he's a decent guy. So and it's just kind of interesting because that was 2 weeks ago or something.
Yeah.
And while we've been here, he wound up driving through, so we got to see each other again and went to dinner and had a nice time. So it's possible to meet somebody. He basically told me that the hardest thing is people don't understand the trucking lifestyle, so it's easier to try to get with a trucker. But as a woman, it's a lot easier to get with a trucker than these men.
It is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, as far as meeting people, but aren't there a lot more women out here than you expected?
They are, yeah. There are a lot more women than I had expected. Of course, there's still mostly men, but I see a lot of women driving, and
I think one of the reasons for that, though, is that when you see all the numbers of women, the calculations are from 2016.
Okay.
And if you look at from 2010 to 2016, the numbers were like going double and triple every year. They were building exponentially. So if you figure, if it was like 8% in 2016 and now it went up to 10% in 2017, and it's going up like that, we could already be at 15% and nobody really has a record of it.
Right, yeah.
And even at this company, the last time I checked, we were almost at 15%.
Okay.
And like 11 or 1,200 women in just this company. I mean, that's pretty impressive when you think that there are companies that only have 1,000 trucks.
Right.
you know. Like even Swift, the last time I looked at Swift's numbers, they have an equal amount of women. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching, and be on the lookout for us. We're going to keep driving, and we're going to try and make videos as we have time, and try not to look like we're exhausted. But like, comment, subscribe. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys, in August, we raised like $267 that I donated for Meals on Wheels, that I'll either put the receipt here or on my community tab. And then in September, it was like another $185. So I did make those donations. Yay! And that's from all you guys watching the videos and sharing and subscribing and making the channel rating go up. So I appreciate that. That doesn't include my book sales and any of the referral bonuses. The way the referral bonuses work, somebody has to be here for 6 months before I get the real big package. So there are a couple people coming up that I will be donating that money for. Yay!
Good cause.
Yeah, it's a good cause, Meals on Wheels. So thanks guys for watching. We appreciate it, and we hope to see you out here trucking on.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.